Y'all see it. Y'all see it. We back. We are live with another edition of the ATL 3-Style Podcast. Tonight we are live, coming to you live. A little surprise as we do it on this Tuesday evening, the last day of March. Man, we're going to do it, and we're going to talk about some Atlanta sports. A lot of stuff to talk about and discuss tonight. But before we get into it, man, I definitely got to pass it out, man, to my co-host to help hold this show down as only they can, man. First to my man Derek Cole down on the east side, man. What's going on?
What's going on, Leo G? What's going on, Baby Banks? Been a minute since we've been all the way live. All the way live.
Yeah, keep your day job. What's up, Banks on the south side? What's going on?
Fellas, what's going on this beautiful March 31st before Easter? What's going on, Derek Cole? How you feeling, brother?
I guess Derek will feel it all right.
I gave him the deuces. You was over there playing around on your phone, so
Hey,
you
man, I was trying to make sure that we were live and streaming on all our sites, man. YouTube and Facebook, making sure we streaming live, and we are. Didn't want to have no technical difficulties, man, but we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, man. So, yeah, shout out our boy Banks. Shout out our boy Derrico in the building, man. Definitely got to shout out our boy, man. Banks, tell everybody about our boy, man, real quick before we get into it.
Yeah, check out our boy Mr. Phil doing that Eastlake woodworking company. Um, Anything personal for you, like your ashtrays and your coasters and your sports team memorabilia or anything that is personal to you. Okay, Price's good example is this right here. Um, Hit my boy up on that QR code, tell him we sent you. He will be very appreciative of you and your business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out our boy Phil, man. Just had a birthday that just passed, man. So shout out our boy Phil over there, man, holding it down, man. Definitely hit that QR code. We'll try to throw it back up if we can. But y'all know what to do, man. Listen, fellas, man, we're gonna get into it. Got some Hawks talk tonight, got some Braves talk tonight. But before we get off into the meat of the show, fellas, got a little hot topic that just popped up, on the horn. Get you guys' opinion. We talked about this before, man, but we'll get some more hot takes on this before we get into talking about those Atlanta Hawks and those Atlanta Braves. But there was a leak today on the internet. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but of course, obviously, everybody knows that the Atlanta Falcons are revealing new uniforms. It's going to happen on this Thursday. They're going to reveal new uniforms, and there's a leak, just like last time. Not as big as the one I think last time, but there is a image going around, if you haven't seen it, of apparently the actual home jersey. Thoughts? I'm gonna pass it over to Banks first, man, before I give my opinion on this. We don't know if this is actually the jersey, but given all the information that we have, it looks like this is pretty much going to be the new home jersey. Banks, your thoughts on this leak, man, and how do you feel about it rolling out here coming up on this Thursday?
Well, so far so good. I mean, I think a lot of people was kind of anxious to see what these things would look like, especially when Tennessee Titans up yonder, how the older folks used to say, revealed theirs just a couple of weeks ago. And I think a lot of people got this kind of anxiety of, what are we going to do with ours? Hopefully we don't mess it up, and a lot of speculations of how it's going to look. With it's going to have stripes, will it not have stripes, will the helmet be shiny, will it be matted, all this and all that. Listen, all I used to tell people, just wait till the second. You'll find all your answers you need to know. Now we have these leaks, and again, here we go. Some people like it's clean. Some people's like, meh. You're gonna get that crowd. Is You're not gonna satisfy everybody. So I mean, for me, how I feel about it. I mean, hey, I mean, it's something new. Something to look at, something to talk about. Let's see how they look on the field. I guess that's the real how you can model it on the runway all you want to, but on that field, that's what it tells the tale.
Jump off looking like the Gridiron Gang, or looking like North Dallas 40 out there, man. Referencing them old movies. Derrico, man, how you feel? How you feel? Got a leak out there, man. How you feel about it, brother?
I'm almost with Banks on this one. I mean, they're supposed to come out April 2nd. So until they come out April 2nd, I really don't have an opinion. I kind of peeked at it, but I haven't looked at it. and looked at any comments because it is what it is. I mean, if it's real, so what? If it ain't, so what? I'm like Banks, like Al Davis. Just win, baby. Just win.
Hey man, I like to look good, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if I'm gonna go in there, you know what I'm saying, I want to look good, man. I want style and profile like the great Ric Flair said, style and profiling. Obviously, you know, gotta bring in. Speaking of, win, baby, win. I mean, I guess we're kind of washing away the old and in with the new uniforms, man. So it looked like they're trying to, I guess if this is going to be the mock-up, trying to go sleek, trying to go clean, like Banks said, man. Not a lot of flash, just not a lot of, it's just straight red Falcons. Let's go. Let's do it, man. Let's get that. And the quote, the Deion Sanders, man, if you look good, you play good, man. So hopefully, man, they'll look good and they can get it together and they'll play good on the new uniform. I'm excited, fellas. I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm excited about these jersey drops. I always am. So it'll be cool to see on Thursday. I don't know if anybody knows if they're doing anything. I know the Tennessee Titans had a big thing that they did. I don't know if the Falcons are doing a reveal or how they're going to present these new jerseys when they come out. Anybody heard any information on that? Okay, so we'll just be waiting around on Thursday to see when they kick it off. I'm pretty sure they have a social media campaign or they'll send an email or whatever and how they do it. Fired up on Thursday. Coming up just in time for your 404 day. If you didn't know, that's going down on this Saturday, 404 in the ATL. If you didn't know, if you know, you know. For everybody that's not from Atlanta, it's 404 day, man. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Hawks and talk about what's going on over there at State Farm Arena, man. Listen, this has been a new and improved Hawks. Derico, we've talked about these Hawks. We've talked about them in purgatory, being mediocre, not living up to expectations, not getting into these just making it into the play-in rounds and then getting bounced out, not having any respect. But, here we go. After the All-Star break, one of the best records in the NBA, if not the best record in the NBA. 6 games left in April. Right now, we're in the 6th spot. We've beaten the teams we were supposed to beat, obviously the tankers, and we're beating teams that are at the top of the table in the East, man. The Celtics, the Pistons, man. What say you, Derico, about this new look Hawks team moving forward with Jalen Johnson obviously being the man and the other pieces around him?
Like you said, like we talked about, I mean, it's a totally different team. It's a totally different team. You got a totally different GM. You got somebody that actually probably knows how to put a team together, number one. So you got new players, different players that actually go out and play hard. You know what I'm saying? So when I've been watching them, it's definitely been a clean look as far as how the team performs. I mean, like you said, they've been one of the hottest teams since the All-Star break. I think they got the 3rd best record since the All-Star break. And we have been playing some mediocre teams. No, I'm not going to take that away. But like you said, they have beat some teams that people would quote unquote say we shouldn't have beaten. And then especially that win that we had on the road last week in Detroit. So that's probably one of the more impressive wins I've seen them make last week when they went to Detroit, because that's a pretty good team over there, because that's the number 1 team in the East right now. So all I can say is keep pushing that momentum, keep rolling, and don't get a haters nothing to continue to hate about. And Stephen A. Smith, hold on. Stephen A. Smith, stop coming in at the last minute trying to get somebody some props because you don't watch a team. The only reason why you said something today is because your producers probably made you say something about the Atlanta Hawks. We don't need your last minute hot data boys from you. I'm just going to make that clear, Stephen A. Smith.
He need to keep our name out of his mouth. That's what he need to do, man. He's Mr. Negative all the time about this city, man. I wish, that he just keep his mouth closed. Like you said, Derek Hope, somebody probably, whispered in his ear, hey, man, what about the Hawks? And he made, the crazy comments like he usually does, man. Enough. Banks, over to you with this Hawks run, man. How do you feel about this Hawks run since the All-Star break, man? And as we sit right now in the number 6 spot, not looking to play in the play-in round, but actually in the doggone tournament without having to, do this 1-2 game, round robin, whatever that crap is we've been doing the last couple of years.
Let me say this. Y'all took all my sentiments. We watching Stephen A, make those comments kind of backhandish, you know, kind of like had the same thing how everyone has got the field temperature of the Atlanta Hawks. I haven't been watching them. Oh, and by the way, they are winning. Oh, really? Well, let me see what they've been doing because I don't know who play for them. And it's cute and everything. Listen, we don't need your validation, you know what I'm saying? And if you wasn't rocking with us with Trey Young, and when Trey Young gets traded, then we were basically buried for dead. Now all of a sudden it's who is this team over here playing in red and gold? I have no idea. They have a team down in Atlanta, stuff like that. It's we're gonna get that until we be more consistent with our winning, fellas. And I hate to say it, if anybody else out there watching, wondering why we don't get the props we deserve. But I'm like, we're starting to win now. It's the beginning. If you continue on and doing and putting people on notice, and I'm talking about beating and putting BTA on these high profile teams, then people ain't gonna have a choice but to pay attention to you. And that starts with the media. That starts with the league. When they be like, you know what, the Hawks deserve this primetime spot. We deserve to acknowledge some of these players that deserves to be in the All-Star game. Stuff like that. That's the little things. Before prior, before Trey Young was traded, it was always after when you talked about Trey Young being in those high-profile games. It's just oh yeah, and Trey Young, whatever. Consistency, people. And the same as the Falcons, consistency. If you
Man, how
win,
the
they have
Falcons
nothing
catch a
else
stray?
negative to talk about. So, no, I'm
The
just
Falcons
saying
caught a stray. We talking about the Hawks.
it's not really a stray. I'm saying it kind of goes hand in hand. When you talk about those teams, we do little things here, little things there. You get a couple of accolades, and then the people move on. And then people are like, where's our respect? Well, you get your respect when you win consistently. And I'm
This
gonna
is
throw another
this is
team in there. And throw another team in there. No one get those strays like the Braves. Braves, they had a big segment on the radio about that. Why is it that the Braves open up, on opening weekend is butts and seats, but you look at Hawks and Falcons, it takes a little bit more of a mountain moving to do that. But we can talk about that later. But I'm just making that as an example. So yes, that's my take going about the whole situation.
Braves and Falcons. Braves, Falcons, Hawks, man. It's almost apples to oranges, man. I mean, the Braves, we could get into that later as talking about the success with the Braves and the expectations with the Braves and why they're going to be butts and seats, obviously, with those two teams. But I mean, this Hawks team, man, obviously is they're doing well. Derico and I, we talked about it, and I talked about it with you too, Banks. The Trey Young effect, and when we actually moved away from him, how was this team going to respond? And this team has responded it's surprisingly well. I knew this team had talent. I knew this team was good. I just didn't know if they would, I'm gonna use a big word here, Derico. The cohesiveness would come together, and it has. These guys are playing like they have played, for a while. Even with the added pieces with CJ McCollum and also bringing in Jonathan Kuminga, they have meshed really, really well in what they're trying to do. The other night, man, I think CJ McCollum just took over a game in the final minutes as we went into overtime against Detroit, man. And that was awesome to see. Guys picking up the slack, guys getting a hot hand and doing what they need to do. Obviously, we talked about Jalen Johnson being a walking triple-double and just him being able to do the things that he does. You can't speak enough about everybody on this team. Alexander Walker, Dyson Daniels, the great barrier thief. Even my man, Okongwu, man, he's doing this thing. Derico, did you expect to see what we're seeing out of this team post Trey Young? Because, there started to be like a lull, toward the end with Trey Young. The energy was just not there. Even with his injuries, man, now it looks like a new sense, just they're revived and they're playing for each other. Banks, forgive me, man. They're finding a way to win games in tough situations and in tough spots, man. And people are coming up clutch when it comes down to it.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say this because you know how I feel about it. I'm gonna keep telling y'all, and I'm gonna say it to anybody that said, stop trying to make this a Trey Young issue with this basketball team. It was a basketball team issue. You can't say that this team was playing like this or like this without XYZ. You're saying that this team now is not the same team that was playing a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This is basically a brand new team. So yeah, it took this team. We're talking about this team that's playing right now that time to jail because there was a lot of new pieces. You talk about Big O, you talk about Dyson, like those are the only two players really that was left besides Jalen Johnson from prior years on this squad. So we can't say that that was the only reason why this team did XYZ. Once you start getting some players in here that know how to play basketball and know how to play basketball together, then that's what you're going to get. And I'll still say it until the cows come home. I'm still not sold on Quinn Snyder yet, but at least this team is playing better. And I don't know if that has something to do with him or just the fact that once again, you got good players. So if that means you can't coach bad players, Steve Kerr, then that's a problem. So yeah. So with that being said, no, we're going to say we're happy that this team, the people that are here. So we're not going to keep talking about people that's not here. We're going to talk about people that are here and move forward with that and keep it 100 on that level.
Hey man, I agree, man. Shout out to Quinn Snyder though, man. 500 career win as a coach of the Atlanta Hawks, man. So yeah, I mean that's I guess is it a Snyder effect? I don't know. Like you said, Derek, is it for the most part the players just coming together and saying, hey, we're gelling, we're clicking, we finding each other and finding ways to win the game and people finding their roles and their places. I see some unselfishness on this team as well. Guys that are willing to, I don't want to talk about the past, but you see guys putting themselves in position to give other people the opportunity to shine. When guys are hot, hey, look, I'm not having a decent night, what I'm saying, putting somebody else out there, Alexander Walker, who's quietly, becoming like, one of the most improved players in the NBA. He should, in my opinion, win that award. I'm a little bit biased, obviously, of course, being a fan of the Hawks. And then you seeing guys like, Okongwu, who, in my opinion, has played bigger than what, he's been, he was billed at being. He's trying to be that rim protector. Obviously, not the big man that we see with a lot of teams, but he's doing his job and he's throwing up some three balls and putting us back in games and situations. So, man, yeah, I like the cohesiveness of what I see out of this team, man. And I think I'm buying into the fact that once we get to the playoffs, this team is probably going to give somebody hell. I'm just watching these last games. We got 6 games left, fellas, down the stretch. If they're giving teams hell, because this is when you want to click. We all know in any professional sport, you want to get hot at the right time. And Banks, when you agree, they're getting kind of hot at the right time.
Absolutely. Every team, any sport, you want to get hot towards the latter part of the season, going right into your postseason. And, anything can happen, as they say, right? You talked about Stephen A. He had made that statement about, being in the 5th seed and the 6th seed, and pray to the Raptors so the Hawks won't play the Knicks. Look here, we play whoever we play, and whatever the basketball guys decide, that's what we're gonna be. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna play the Cavs, we're gonna play the Cavs. If we're gonna play the Knicks, we're gonna play the Knicks. I don't think nobody in the East the Hawks are afraid of. I think they're gonna go out there and play and give them their all, and see what happens, And I can only be excited for that, Lord knows we can sit here and talk about when the last time all 3 of us talked about when the Hawks can be in a meaningful game in April and May, and it's like I gotta think back 10 plus years maybe, but it's good to talk about finally. We're talking about meaningful games, not called play-in, going forward,
Derek, is it just me too, man? Or are you seeing, changes in watching other teams as they play us? Because I used to watch teams play the Hawks, and it was almost like, okay, you know what? It's the Hawks. They're going to run. We'll find a way to climb our way back into this. They'll shoot themselves out. Obviously, we're talking about a different team, but the last couple of nights as I've watched this team, and like you said, even some of the better teams, the Detroits and the Bostons, their demeanor, their focus, their energy has changed going into the stretch into the third and fourth quarter. So is it just me, Derek Cole, or are other teams now like they like, man, these guys are kind of for real? Because it used to be like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll shoot a couple of threes and we'll get right back in this and take the lead, 30 seconds out, and that'll be it. Now it's like, hey, we got to play for this, man. I'm watching Jaylen Brown. I'm watching these guys like we in a fight.
Well, maybe it's me because I really don't. I haven't seen like there's a different demeanor from other teams as far as playing this team. I just feel like people feel like at this point, this down the stretch, you know what I'm saying? We're getting in playoff mode, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't no time to be, sitting back taking nobody lightly or saying, oh, we're just playing just the Hawks. Oh, we're just playing the Pelicans. Oh, we're just playing the Sacramento Queens or somebody like that. I think these folks are really in the mindset that, hey, we're getting geared up for the playoffs, so that's what we need to be. I don't think that there's a different mindset. If that's the case, I think that game that just happened on yesterday, last night, Boston would have came out and put belt ass at the Hawks, it would have been a problem. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? As far as, oh, we're Boston, we're big bad Boston, or even the Hawks saying, hey, this is Boston. We're just happy to be here to play Boston Celtics in the arena. But like you said, once I think a mentality changes and folks understand, hey, we can do this. I mean, it's contagious. But like I said, what I want to see is consistency. I think that's the word Banks used earlier. Consistency. I don't want to see one good year. I want to see consistency moving forward. And I think with not Ian Cunningham, my bad. I'm thinking two people at the same time here. Thinking about our new GM, I think that he's on that level of being consistent and making the Hawks a consistent winner.
You have to build on something, though. And obviously, this is something that we're starting to build on it. And I know Banks is super excited about seeing, the Hawks, to go off of what Derrico said. It's like, hey, we're walking into the building and we're going to go at you toe-to-toe. They went toe-to-toe with Detroit. They went toe-to-toe with Boston in the last couple of games. And I know, Banks, you're excited to see that, man. There's no back down mentality or this, oh, look at the lights. We're just happy to be here, you know what I'm saying, type of situation. It's focused. And like Derrico said, man, this is something that we're starting to build on. So anytime you get consistency by building and continuing to build on something. So that's what we're seeing. And I know you're excited about seeing this team going out the folk, Bank.
Listen, I watched the games, when they played Boston the first time, in Boston. And they were in the game, and I saw how the referees had to steer their ugly heads in there and determine the game. But it's whatever. I felt like take that away, and the Hawks was playing a pretty damn good game. Follow up with another game against the same team in our house, and it was a whole totally different outcome. And that's the little things that you start with that. Yes. We went out there and we went toe-to-toe with our nemesis, the Boston Celtics. We talked about how we went up in Detroit and won by 1 point, but what a gritty win that was. You went back and forth and went into overtime and everything. And then you got the people like, oh, well, we should have never been in that situation. We were up 21. Like, okay, but Detroit's a good team, you guys. We're not going to just stomp them in the ground and they're just going to let it happen. They battled back, and the Hawks stood their ground and they finished the deal. So I look at this whole team as a whole. I think I heard on the radio, they said these guys don't like losing. And that's another thing in the locker room that is very underrated. If you got a mindset in the locker room that we don't want to lose, that's going to take you a long way going forward. New faces going to come and go, but that mentality stays, then we're going to have that consistency in State Farm Arena, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely, man. Something to build on, man. So like I said, 6 games left, fellas. Hopefully we'll come back and talk about, where we are positioning wise for the playoffs and get ready to see how this thing all unfolds. I'm excited. I'm ready to see this thing go, and I'm ready to see this new look Hawks and what they have in store. Fellas, all right, man. we are moving quite a bit into the show here, so let's get into it, man. We'll go ahead and talk about the other team in the city that's just fired it up this past weekend, and that's the Atlanta Braves. Had opening day up at Truist Park, man. The Atlanta Braves took on the Kansas City. I was about to say Chiefs, but Kansas City Royals up there at Truist Park, man. For the opening day. I think right now they're back at Truist against. Are they still? Oh, who are the A's? Let's have a conversation real quick. Are the A's still? What are they? I know we know they're moving to Vegas, but what, they just a team without a city? What are they doing, Banks?
They just call it athletics right now. They don't have a city affiliation. They have
refugee team.
They play in East Sacramento, and they have a small minor league stadium they play in. But it's called, if you look them up, it's no longer Oakland Athletics, it's the Athletics. And that's what they're going to be until 2028 when Las Vegas are awarded the rights of the A's.
I thought it was already been determined. And are they still waiting for that announcement?
No, it's there, but they don't have a home. I mean, they don't have a stadium.
They're building the stadium right next to the Excalibur between.
They're building as we speak, but they're not there yet. They won't be there until another 2 years. So right now, they're just the Athletics. And for the big part, I've been doing a lot of digging, guys. It's a sad situation over there on the West Coast. They don't even have a fan base that follows them. If you go to a message board for Oakland Athletics, it doesn't exist. It just goes to a black screen. You pull up anything on Reddit about the Athletics fan base, it's like one person that's just like just reminding everyone how dead it is in here. It's a sad situation. Yes, I'm serious. No fans.
Why are you surprised, man?
Well, I'm not surprised, but I mean the people in Oakland are very jaded because the fact that the way they left.
Oh, absolutely.
And the fact that they're going to another city, a city that probably they
stole their football team.
Arguments. Well, no. They have this argument saying, well, Vegas is getting all these sports teams. They're not even a sports city, but that's neither here or there. You know what I'm saying? They want sports in Vegas. They
money,
sports in Vegas.
Money.
That's the big thing. You can have all the sports and all the you don't have. If the fans not there, fans gonna show up eventually. You know what I'm saying? That's the only they looking at. They don't have to have a big, strong fan base following, in order to have a sports team there. So, we determined that already.
No shiny. There was no money. I don't think. We know that Golden State they moved across the bay over to San Francisco. Obviously, right. the Raiders moved to Vegas first, and now the Oakland Athletics. It's crazy because obviously, the facilities, from what I understand in Oakland, Derrico, you probably could share some light on this as well, were just horrible. And, local government just couldn't find a way or get it together to build or try to find somewhere to put a new stadium. It's just a lot of infighting I heard with the local government. And they were just like, you know what, screw it, man. We might as well be out. And Vegas welcome him with open arms. And Banks, it's all about the money. Derrico.
The fact, and I applaud Oakland, I applaud San Diego, I applaud Seattle when they was doing it with the basketball team. I applaud any city that backs down from financing a billionaire's pet project. And that's the whole thing. Oakland was like, no, we're not going to foot this bill. When you're a billionaire over here, you got all this money, but that's how they say they keep their money, right? Spending other people's money. But I like the fact that those cities are standing up and saying, y'all can take him because we're not going to be responsible for footing the bill when you over here living a life and over here struggling because you want to put an athletic team in a stadium. No. So that's how I feel about it.
I mean, you make a good point. I mean, obviously, Oakland leaps and bounds, man. Like just the city of Oakland in general is a lot has happened in that city in the last 10 or 20 years. I mean, I'm very familiar with that city. I've been there several times.
If they wanted to do it, they could have did it. They don't want to. It ain't about the fact that they didn't want to. If you looked at the consistent attendance prior to the debacle of moving or not getting what they wanted, they supported that team just like they supported the Raiders. And that's why the Raiders left, because they didn't want to fall into that trap of leaving something like in San Diego or other places that have these stadiums that's just sitting there doing nothing but collecting dust at this point. But you're giving them all these benefits, tax breaks that are costing people, money. I mean, just what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Banks, any more that you want to add on to this situation, man? And we'll start talking about the home team.
Yeah, just sad. You talk about a city, saying Derek Cole, you say it was, good for them for, standing their ground. But you just lost 3 professional teams. You lost them all. And
That's
it's
a
like you
revenue
kind of
too.
feel, and you feel bad for them. You feel bad for the city. You lost first, the football team, the basketball team went across the bridge, and now your baseball team is going to the same city that you lost your football team to. And you feel like they don't appreciate those 2 teams because it's just, it's just something to do, and you have real life rabid fans that appreciate those teams, and they have nothing else to, I guess. I don't know. I read a little bit more. You still have your Oakland Athletic fans that's still going to be there no matter where they go to. You still got Raider fans around no matter what city they play in. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't really fall too much of a sympathy, but it's just the city. I'm just looking at it as a whole.
Absolutely. Derico.
No, go ahead. Let's go ahead and move to the Bravos.
Moving to the Bravos, man. Listen, Banks, I'm gonna kick it over to Banks. Banks is the resident Braves man. Listen, a lot of talk coming out of spring training, coming into the season, man. Obviously, we're here now. First thing to talk about with the Braves. No, this is a solid pitching. This has always been an organization that prided themselves on pitching, but right now, pitching is currently kind of in limbo, man. Tell me what's going on with this starting rotation and this bullpen.
Listen, we basically putting names in the hat and pulling it out and see what's going to stick. We came into the just the end of training camp thinking that we got us a rotation set, we ready to go, and then bam, there's Strider, on the disabled list, and it's like, here we go again. We about to do this little piece of patchwork, pitching staff, everybody after Chris Sales, let's say, let's hope it works, and it's the same thing. For this is what, the 3rd year we're doing this now in a row. It's getting old. At some point, we got to have a 1 healthy season. We got to go through this season somewhere and somehow one day healthy. I mean, it's just, you look at teams around the league and everybody just doing a little happy dance and winning their games and like ain't nothing happening. We are just constantly just getting beat up on BS, and we got a hangnail over here, we got a strained pec over there. It's just it's frustrating.
Yeah, Derek Cole. And the thing about the Braves, and there was a lot of talk about it going into this season. It's like the money and the spending. Obviously, we know that there's not a single owner of the Braves. They're owned by Liberty Media, and how much do they open up the pocketbook? Because I mean, listen, and this is a conversation that we'll have moving forward, but we got some young talent on this team that they're still going to be up for some pretty big contracts. And I don't know if the Braves are going to open up the pocketbook to play some of these guys. Derek Cole, man, like Banks said, just trying to find pieces to put together in this puzzle and bounce back and forth between injuries and having a squad, even though, we know that how the Braves are built. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the new manager as well. I know it's very early, but we know how the Braves are built. Just looking at this season, still very early, man. What are your expectations, or how do you feel like this is going to go, moving, as we start to get into May and June?
My expectations are going to be the same when Bobby Cox was here. My expectations are going to be the same as Nick was here. That's what my expectations are, because that's the same playbook. That's the same blueprint that this organization uses. I'm sorry. This is what we're going to get. You might bust a nut and Whites might get one. I don't know when it's going to be, But hey, that's the MO of this team, of this organization. I mean, we brag about butts in the seat or whatever. It really wasn't tip top full on opening day now, Banks. I'm going to tell you that. It was still seats out there. Usually on opening day, everything is good, but it wasn't overly good. So I say this until, like you said, the corporate people stop looking at the bottom line and start looking at, hey, we can do both. Because I can tell you this, if Atlanta Braves are supposed to be America's baseball team, they're going to support that baseball team. And you can spend the money and recoup the money. I mean, it just is what it is. Stop being cheap and spend money. Don't be like the Hawks. And I'm going back, they just called it straight. Don't be like the Hawks, being cheap. Don't want to spend money. And like you said, I mean, I think that's just what they are good. They are comfortable with being good. They don't want to be great. They don't want to compete with the Dodgers, really. They want to be able to compete with the NFC, the NF. I keep talking football. Boy, I must be football right now. They
I
keep
got
doing that.
football on the brain.
You know
Y'all
what I'm
got
saying?
all y'all
Yeah.
got football on the brain.
It's just hard to get it off. But that's what I'm saying, Banks and Leo. It that's just the craziest thing to me is like you have to go back to the old black analogy of gambling. Scared money don't make
Don't
no.
make no money. It don't, man. You definitely gotta get it together, man. Listen, Braves 3-1 as they beat the Athletics last night. Athletics on an 0-4 skid. Looks like Suarez is gonna start tonight. 7:15 is the first pitch up there at Truist. I'm with you, Derrico, man. You know, the expectations are the Braves who are who they are. I mean, they are the America's team, like in baseball, and the crown gem of sports in this city. Like, period. If we don't have nothing else, we got the Braves, right? And I mean, it's like, they have done so much, provided so much for this city, man. It's like it's hard to, like, really, you just gotta wait and see. Like you said, man, whites might luck up and we do some things, man. Banks, back over to you, man, before we close this thing out on the two early predictions of what the Braves can do. Obviously, we got to get that pitching together, man. Strider, abductor, whatever this is he got going on. What is it he got? What's the actual injury that he has going on? This day-to-day thing?
Man, I don't know. I mean, it was
trapped trapezius muscle.
Something. It was something that is a muscle under your armpit or something. Hell, I don't know. I mean, but listen, it's something. You got all these injuries throughout the whole roster, man. I'm not making any excuses, but at the same time, it's like some teams got to deal with it more times than other teams do. And it seems like we're the ones that's got to deal with it the most, and we still try to work through it. Yes, we want to be that team, but at the same time, we're not going to just get there just by our names, by ourselves. We saw for the past couple of years that no one can give a fat gray rat's ass if the Braves are in the playoffs or not. So listen, we got to make sure we there. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, we got to do our parts, and with the fans, I think fans gonna be there. I don't think, they were there not opening day. They were in that facility, and you best believe it, you couldn't get up there if you wanted to. So I look at it going forward, I think this stay the course with the Braves. I think the Braves gonna be fine with these key players come back, like the shortstop, Yohan Kim, if he comes back okay and strong, we get our Strider back. If Weiss decide that he gonna keep Iglesias as a closer, which I don't believe he should, but that's just me. But we'll see. This season is just 4 days old. We're gonna be talking about a whole nother tune come July and August. I guarantee it.
Yeah, man, wake me up when it get hot. Wake me up when it get hot, man. For real. That's when as they say, as the saying goes in the South, when the weather gets hot, so does the Braves. Derek, on to you, man, before we close this thing out.
I was just gonna tell Banks, I say I put the first drink on the NFL game that we gonna be disappointed again this year. I'm just sorry. We are. Not saying that they're not gonna be okay. I just don't think this team, the way it's constructed, and the way, case in point, we thought that we had the baddest U.S. World Baseball League team ever constructed, right? And what happened?
Who said
Pitch-
that?
Who said that?
Oh, y'all must wasn't watching. Oh, they was saying that was the greatest team ever constructed. You know what I'm saying?
Not
As far
even
as the
close,
world
brother.
baseball.
Not even close.
I'm
Not
just telling
even
you,
close.
saying, dog. Remember now, we just started really putting MLB players in the World Championship. I'm just saying we have.
Well,
But
you,
what I'm
but you have to understand also other teams in other countries had the same baseball players that you cheer for every single day. So it wasn't like it was a
Exactly.
strong lopsided for the US. The US was just a blip on the radar. I mean,
now you better listen to what I'm about to say. So that was the whole case in point about the whole broadcast throughout the whole series was, hey, the great hitting of the United States. And then when they came against somebody throwing some nasty ass pitches,
Dookie. They were throwing some dookie up there. Boy.
they could nothing. And I'm a proponent of this. Great pitching will beat great hitting any day.
we seen that firsthand here in this city. So I mean that's
absolutely
that's nothing new right there. We already know that good pitching would beat good hitting every day of the week. Insert 1995 World Series. That would tell you
arguably one of the greatest pitching rotations I know I've ever seen. One of the greatest pitcher rotations that probably ever, crossed the diamond, man. So yes, I'm with you all day, man. In this day and age, in this league, will you find a way to get a roster, a rotation like that again? I don't know. That'll be something for Alex Anthopoulos to see what he can come up with and do. Listen, fellas, we are at the mark. Couple of other tidbits to talk about here, man, before we close this thing out, man. USA tonight taking on Portugal down at Mercedes-Benz in a friendly. Obviously, man, Derek owed them tickets. Ronaldo said, I'm not playing. My hamstring is not feeling the greatest. So, still getting ready for that World Cup, fellas. We're about almost close to like 60 days out, man, before we kick this thing off World Cup 2026, man, down at Mercedes-Benz. Derek, they might release some more tickets for you, man. I don't know, man, if they're going to ever drop down to what I want to pay for them, but we're going to see. we going to see, man. Like I said, Banks, we might just have to go down there and hang out in front of the stadium and see if they'll let a brother in, man, because I don't know if I'm coming up off the pockets on these tickets, man, like my man Rock said.
I'll go right across the street to Cosm.
They can charge an arm and a leg over there. Yeah. Cosm, man, the new big sporting and movie theater event that they got going on down there and what they calling it, Centennial Yards. That's supposed to be, I think it's opening up here pretty soon. Fellas, I think we want to check that out one of these days, man, and check out some games over there and see what's going on. Also, man, just came across the ticker and, it's not really Atlanta related, but I thought it was pretty funny, man. Jacksonville Jaguars just announced 2027 season. They're going to play all their games. Obviously, they're going to remodel the stadium in Jacksonville. They will play all their games in Orlando in 2027. That's going to be fun. Yeah, that dumpster fire of a stadium in Orlando. Good God, man. Yeah. So shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars for that, man. Draft coming up here, fellas, in a couple of weeks. We'll definitely come back to talk about that, man. Obviously, we'll be back next week, hopefully live to talk about the new uniforms and how you guys feel about them, because I'm really excited about that. And also, man, we'll have Atlanta United back out on the pitch on 404 day. Derrico looking for 404 day, man. Atlanta United will be back out there on the pitch. Got a lot of stuff going on around the city for that on this Saturday, man. Banks, closing out, man. You excited for this 404 day, man?
Absolutely, I am. Unfortunately, fellas, I won't be in town for 404 day. But I will keep my city in spirits and in mind. But yes, that's always.
I was about to say in prayer. I was like, that. We do need prayer, man. But it ain't go. 404.
Listen, I always, have 404 as a special day in my heart. Because I love my city, and I don't want to live anywhere else on this planet. Okay, I've been to a lot of places around United States. I've been to other, cities in other countries, and I'm like, yeah, that's nice. I love it. I love this city. I love, insert city here, but it's not no place like home. This is you hear they got a group site, y'all. I don't know if y'all heard, but it's a why did I move to Atlanta group, and people like vent and have this big powwow about what's wrong with Atlanta. And I got this is a simple solution. Move.
Leave this mother.
It's simple. It don't have to do all these little popular circumstances or how this make this group about why we do things we don't like about this city. I can
We don't
help
care.
you. We can help you. As natives of this city, we can help you. Leave. You don't have to do all this extra stuff. We know what our city is about. We're not trying to be like New York. We're not trying to be like Chicago. We are only Atlanta. You know, for the ones that you like, well, you're nothing but a big, giant, overgrown city of Birmingham. Then take your ass back to Birmingham. Okay? We didn't ask you to come here.
As T.I. would say, expeditiously. Go on head back. Get up out of here for real, man. Banks, let everybody know where they can find you. We know we're not going to be in ATL Street this weekend, but let everybody know where they can find you out here in the social media land.
You can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook or Baby Banks 80 on Instagram.
I'll let your boy Banks, man. Derek Cole, 404. Man, what we doing for it, brother?
Hey, I'm gonna be out in them streets somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna I'm a 404 hop this weekend. So I might hit here, hit there. So that's what I'm gonna do. I ain't posting up nowhere one spot. There's too many things going on in the city, so I will do that as long as.
Hey man, I hope you got a helicopter then, shit, because this traffic will not let you be great. But
sometimes you gotta know how to.
I didn't mean it. I know this. Shame on me for not bringing this up, guys. On the light on the Atlanta Falcons debuting their new digs. So did the Atlanta Braves with their City Edition jerseys, with their TBS style Atlanta Braves jerseys. Powder Blues will be debuted this year.
Okay,
yeah, so
those are Powder Blue.
Yeah,
them Dale Murphys. Bring them back. Bring them back. I check them out, man. These folks gonna keep me broke around here.
They said they don't look like they had the blue on blue combination though.
It's actually they put emphasis on that ATL into that TBS symbol on the sleeve.
No, I'm talking about the pants, the breeches.
Oh, yeah.
Baby blue breeches.
Yeah.
But then
yeah.
They're gonna do it.
You're right. But I think they want to showcase the baby blue with the, when TBS first debuted the Atlanta Braves with the lowercase a and everything. You best believe I will be copying me a couple of them. So yes.
They keep us broke, man. Derek Cole, man, let everybody know where they find you in the social media world as well, brother.
Hey, catch me on Facebook at Stacy D. Derek Cole. You can catch me on Snapchat at DJ K-Rose6. IG, you can catch me at Derek Cole _Virgo. And that's the same place you can catch me on Threads. Derek Cole _Virgo.
That's what's up, man. You can always catch us on all streaming platforms, YouTube and Facebook, man. Catch us on Instagram, everywhere. It's the ATL 3 Style Podcast, man. Definitely catch us there. Listen, fellas, it is what it is, man. Happy Easter, man. If I don't catch up with you all, man, Banks, enjoy your time away from this city, man. Derek, I might catch up with you in the city for the 404. It's going down, man. So we're gonna do real big things, man. We're gonna be back next week to talk some more ATL sports as only we can, man. Shout out to our boy out there on the east side with Eastland's Woodworking, and we'll catch y'all next time on another edition of the ATL 3 Style Podcast live.